You mentioned just before we wrap up that you would touch on maybe some of your gear, some of the stuff that you're using. Take us through maybe some of your favorite bits of gear that you're using.
Yeah, sure. I've been a Yamaha artist for the last 7 years, I think now. And there's another question I get asked a lot about endorsements and how do you get endorsements and how do you keep them and what's your, and for me personally, my relationship with Yamaha, for example, is very, very important because it's not just the thing of I get loads of free gear because you know a lot of students kind of think it's all about that. It's not. It's the fact that I get support globally. So if I'm stuck somewhere in the world and I can't figure something out, I've got 2-3 people from the team at the end of the line where I can just call up regardless of what time it is, and say, listen, I don't know how to figure this out. I don't have the manual in front of me. I'm freaking out. What should I do? And they'll immediately be like, bam, 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 do that. And the fact that I can get the keyboards all over the world, so I just run around with my USB keys if I don't have my own gear, knowing full well that my equipment is going to be wherever I need it to be, just loading my patches, and more often, sometimes there are glitches and I have to, do clever things to work around, equipment, but usually it's just a matter of plug and play for me. So I've based my rig in the last 7 years really on a Yamaha twin rig, so it's always an 8 a weighted keyboard, an unweighted keyboard, and then I will add specialist keyboards or specialist gear as I feel I need to. So, if I need something more analog, I've got the Virus. If I need, something, a proper Hammond specific keyboard, I'll use the VK7. If so I've got like specialist little bits and bobs of toys really that I can add. I also use the Muse Receptor, which I've recently just purchased as part of the rig. So it's a lot of fun because I kind of get to experiment a lot. And another thing I want to say about my relationship with Yamaha, for example, is really interesting because you kind of get to be hands-on with troubleshooting, because there'll be things that I'll figure out on stage, be like, oh man, I don't know how that works, and I'll feed it back, and the people will be like, oh, that's really interesting, let's work on that. So I kind of feel that I'm hands-on part of the development of it too, which is so exciting because I'm a total geek and love everything that has to do, all the kind of troubleshooting, finding new ways and new and interesting ways of doing something or building bits of gear. It's fascinating to me.